So today we are going to be looking at some baseline out of bounds basketball plays that you can run with just about any age group. These plays typically involve multiple options, but we're definitely getting one easy option at least to score the basketball. And again, these are effective enough so that you can use them with just about any age group. Let's take a look at this first baseline out of bounds play right here. So to start in this one, we are going to line up in a box, right? We're going to line up in a sort of box setting. Okay, so we're going to have number one here, obviously our inbounder with the basketball. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have number three kind of float backwards behind the three-point line to get them out of the play a little bit. So we want number three to kind of, be out of the play. They're not going to be an option. The first thing we're going to have number two do is sprint. The first step of this one is number two is going to sprint right here to look for a shot. Now, as that's happening, number four is going to step in, and they're going to set a screen for number two as number two sprints and curls for an outside jump shot. So number four, like I said, is setting that screen. Now, after that happens, and we do have that option here to pass the ball to number two, potentially for an outside jump shot. But as that happens, number four is going to sprint right here and set a screen for number five. Okay, number five is going to come off that screen and look for the basketball, and number four is going to roll. So we have two options there. Number five is going to cut to the net and look for the basketball, and number four is going to cut to the net as well and look for the basketball. So we have multiple different options with this play. We have number two, we can pass the ball there for a shooter, right? It curls. We can pass the ball here to number five, who's coming off that screen, and we can pass the ball to number four, who is rolling to the basket. As I mentioned in this particular play, number three is not really an option, right? We're not really worried about number three. We're just getting them out of the play. But again, if you have number three as a three-point shooter, you maybe want to lob it into them. If these options aren't there, and that option is there as well. But overall, we're going to get it into one of these players down low.
Okay, so the next play that we're going to look at is called box green. And the way this is going to work is we're going to set multiple screens here, and eventually one of those screens will end up with somebody cutting to the basket and rolling it to the basket. So it is a box set, and we're going to start off in a box, obviously, as you can see, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But like I said, there are multiple screens involved here. It's not your basic box set. We're just starting off that way. So let's take a look at it. We do have multiple different options with this one. So the first thing that we're going to do here is kind of make it look like this is our usual box play. So what we're going to do first is have number three come up here and set a screen for number two. So number three is making their way up, and they're setting that screen for number two. Now, as that happens, number two is going to come off the screen, and they're going to head over to the three-point line. So this actually is an option that you have. If you have a really good three-point shooter on your team, say you're an older team and you have a three-point shooter that you might want to get open, this is a good initial option that might actually be able to work for your team. But it's not the main option of this play. Now, what we're going to have next is number five set a cross screen. They're moving in a diagonal line right here for number three. So number five is making their way up, and they're setting that screen right here for number three. And number three is going to come off the screen and cut to the basket and look for the basketball. So that's number three. They're coming off that screen, cutting hard to the basket and looking for the basketball. But as that happens, number five is going to roll to the basket. So we actually have two different options here for a layup, right? We'll either have number three right here on that initial cut, but we'll also have the opportunity to maybe get it over to number five as well as they are rolling. Now, last but not least, you also have number four here. Number four can pop up to the three-point line as a safe option, as a kind of last resort kind of option. But your main options are going to be number three or number five as they get to the basket. So let's reset that a little bit now and run it one last time to look at. So again, we're going to start here in a box. Number three is coming up to set that screen for number two, and then number two is coming off that screen to the three-point line to look for a three-point shot. Now, as we are reset, number five is coming up here to set that screen for number three. They're setting the screen nice and hard. Number three is cutting to the basket off that screen, obviously much tighter than what I just drew, but they're looking for the basketball. And number five is rolling. Number four is extending. So we have three main options down low and one kind of safety option up high. But again, if we can get in there to number 5 or number 3, that will result in an easy layup for our team.
All right, folks, I need to quickly stop right there before we move into our next topic to mention that right now, 97.1% of our daily viewers are not subscribed to our channel. So that means if you are one of these people, if you are one of these 97.1% who are not currently subscribed but are watching this video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could take the time real quick to hit that subscribe button. It will help us continue to make content like this, continue to make basketball plays for other coaches, basketball drills for other players, and basketball everything that both players and coaches and organizations alike can use. So again, if you could really quickly take the time to hit that subscribe button, it'll just take 2 seconds. It would be greatly appreciated. But moving on to our next topic.
All right, so this is a baseline out of bounds basketball play, and this one is named L, right? So pretty self-explanatory. We are lined up in an L shape, okay? Just like this, we can see that we're lined up in an L shape. This one's gonna provide us with a few different opportunities. We're gonna have an opportunity for a 3-point shot. Okay, we're gonna sprint through. We're gonna have multiple screens ready for a 3-point shot, but we're also gonna have multiple opportunities for a few wide open layups. So a few different ways that we can go with this. A few different options. Okay, so first things foremost, we want to set up in an L shaped, okay, with most of these players being on the opposite side of the ball, right? As we can see, we're lined up in this direction. Okay, we're not staggering our players on the same side of the basketball. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is number 3 here is going to sprint for an outside shot. Okay, and as that is happening, number 5 is going to step in and set a screen for number 3, and number 4 is going to do the same thing. Okay, so as we can see, number 3 is going to sprint. They're going to run tight right here. Number 5 is going to set that first screen, right? Number 4, as number 3 passes by, is going to set that second screen. Then we're going to have number 3 curl, right? If you're dealing with the younger team, maybe we can curl a little bit tighter for an inside shot. If you're dealing with an older team, maybe you want that to be, an outside 3-point shot. As that is happening now, we're going to have number 2 set a diagonal screens. They're going to sprint up here, and they're going to set a tight screen for number 5. Number 5 is coming off of that, and they're going to curl and look for the basketball to see if they can get a wide open layup right here. Okay, so just then we have 2 different options. We have that 3-point shot or inside shot depending on the age group, or we have a wide open layup here. If that doesn't work, number 5 is going to clear out, and then number 4 is going to set a cross screen right here for number 2, and that same action is going to happen. Number 2 is going to sprint to the basketball, and number 4 is going to roll. So now we have another option here for a layup, another option here for a layup. So pretty much every single player on the floor is an option, right? Which is what we want. Okay, let's take a look at it again. Let's reset. Okay, so we had number 3 up here, we had number 5 right here, we had number 4 right here, number 2 right here, and that is our L shape. Okay, let's reset and watch it again. Right, we're going to have number 3 sprint. They're going to get screened on here by number 5. They're going to get screened on here by number 4. They're going to get that outside shot. Okay, as that's happening, number 2 then is going to come set that screen here for number 5. Right, number 5 is coming off that screen. We maybe get the ball to them for a wide open layup, but if not, they're going to clear out. Okay, then number 4 rather is going to set that screen on number 2. Number 2 is cutting to the basket. Number 4 is rolling to the basket. Right, so again, every single player at some point in this play is an option.